Gentrification as interpreted by youth. That's the focus of a new work by the Push Dance Company as it explores the transformation of the Bayview Hunters Point neighborhood in San Francisco. Concerns about whether local residents will be priced out of their own neighborhood are brought to life in a unique performance that premieres this weekend, combining dance with poetry.
The sights and sounds seem familiar. A room spills over with focused intensity as a dance troupe rehearses for its upcoming premiere. But there's nothing ordinary about this performance. It's called the Point Shipyard Project, and it's a genre-bending mix of poetry and dance created with the help of the 3rd Street Youth Center and Clinic.
We are collaborating in order to learn more about the toxic cleanup at the Bayview Hunters Point Naval Shipyard and how that will affect the youth at the center 10 years from now.
It was a place in the area where the land was passed down. This is where toxic and bombs were tested, contaminated land was found. It was never safe when the government came in. Caution.
The Bayview Hunters Point neighborhood is located in San Francisco's southeastern corner. It's one of the few areas in the city that has not yet been greatly affected by gentrification. But after nearly a century as a working shipyard neighborhood, inhabited predominantly by African Americans, that's starting to change. Bayview Hunters Point is in the midst of a radical transformation. The 3rd Street Light Rail project was finished in 2007. An $8 billion redevelopment program is in progress, and the Navy shipyard is undergoing a massive cleanup of toxins.
When I first brought the subject of gentrification to 3rd Street Youth Center and Clinic, the youth did not know about the cleanup at the shipyard. And there is going to be a whole new neighborhood and development along that area. And they wanted to know exactly how that would affect them.
This will no longer be the Hunters Point we've known our whole lives.
The longtime residents are facing a particularly complex problem. How do you support improvements to your neighborhood if they may ultimately result in the loss of your home? Simpson believes you start by helping people tell their stories.
My neighborhood filled with blacks. They say it's contaminated. They say it'll be crazy and touche, it'll be dark and some brightest days, but there's a reason for these violent ways. After examination, I found that discrimination contaminated.
Push is a dance company that focuses on social topics, and we usually look for stories that are untold or not really seen in the public eye. So it was very natural for us to reach out to youth and ask them, hey, can you please tell us your stories about what you think the naval shipyard will look like in 2024. And they actually came up with some really amazing things. Okay, don't let the energy die here. Keep it up.
The youth poets recorded their monologues, establishing a roadmap for Simpson's next step, creating the choreography that would merge the spoken word with movement.
All right, if you're gonna do anger, like let it come through.
For Simpson, this melding of poetry and dance isn't simply a tool for social change, it's also a personal exploration.
This sound score is very important to the dancing because for me as a choreographer, there are parts where I take each word from the poem and make a movement specifically to that word.
So give me some examples of certain words and how you translate that into gestures for the dancers.
Well, for example, we have brain cells.
Oh, okay.
Contamination. Examination.
Sick. Dancer. Asthma. Shoot. White. Black, white. Break them down.
So this is the story about a young man named Sam Owens, and his poem is talking about the discrimination in his neighborhood and how the toxins affect his ability to think, go to school, read, and just learn.
The Point Shipyard project looked to the Museum of the African Diaspora for support during development, and it's the ideal venue for the performance.
This was another opportunity to look at African American culture and how we adapt and bring culture to new areas as well.
Simpson considers the piece to be part performance, part museum installation. It starts with the audience wandering through the space, interacting close up with the push dancers. By the end of the piece, the audience has been ushered into the top floor gallery to have a direct personal experience with the dancers and the words of the Bayview youth.
Do not wear hoodies. Do not wear your pants low. Do not wear do-rags, fitted caps, ski caps. Do not wear headgear or anything that's red and black or blue.
Toaster is one of the poets. He's seeing the piece for the first time.
Jerseys, scrubs, uniforms, suits are always fine as long as they can count the numbers on your back. Be a number. Do not be a statistic. No.
To watch it turn into something that like kind of explained how I feel walking down the street in most neighborhoods anyway, it was really comforting to watch other people feel the same way I did.
Funerals are fine. Funerals are always fine.
Like 7 people on stage feel and understand what I'm saying and then express it in that way, it was wonderful.
Push Dance Company is a young company, and we're also a part of the discussion when it comes to displacement and diaspora in San Francisco. The residents of Bayview Hunters Point are facing the question of whether or not they'll be priced out, and I think that in some ways we're kindred spirits in that artists are also being priced out.
For a century, this hard-working neighborhood has supported the Navy and other industries at great physical cost to the residents. But when the cleanup and redevelopment are complete, what will remain of the families, the artists, the community that built this neighborhood from the ground up?
I think what should happen for that area is that the residents of Bayview Hunters Point have a voice in how their neighborhood is being developed.